And welcome again, Reverend Martie. It's so nice to be with you twice in a row. That's a miracle. So I'm going to light the God candle, and this is our representation of the one power and presence in the universe, known by many names. The name you choose to use is welcome here. All right. And since this is our... It just didn't click that it was the first.
I didn't put my belief statement,
Okay.
so I'm just going to listen.
Okay. Divine love is the source from which all life flows.
The direct experience of the ultimate source is available to all. All life is unique expression of the divine to be revered. We co-create our world with the ultimate source and each through consciousness. There is truth and wisdom in all spiritual paths. We choose the path of love. Okay, I know what I forgot. Which is bringing the
papers.
the papers.
That's okay.
And also for the song, so we'll have to congregate.
Come along. So this opening song by Joni Mitchell, Both Sides Now. And this is a reflective song about seeing life with clarity and embracing complexity. And so with that, I want to welcome Reverend Martie back. We all know her and love her and enjoyed the last service. And this is a continuation. And she's consolidating parts 2 and 3 today so that we don't have to wait till January and forget everything we've learned. So that's why we're going to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it will be wonderful, and we'll conclude her knowledge that she's sharing today.
Thank you. So I think I'd really like to just settle in, put the weight in our seats, release our shoulders, close our eyes, and sit. Just accepting the invitation into the sweet territory of silence. And staying in the silence, just allow yourself to fly over the landscape of the places and ideas and invitations that were brought forward last time we circled up. Looking down at the wheel of the fourfold way. Remembering the invitation to empower ourselves in each of the 4. It's not necessary to just choose one. It is optimal health to be powerful and well in all. as a way to bring all of us forward, all of us into the work, all of us into a deeper, more beautiful and splendid place in our spiritual path. And we remember that when we focus our energy, our thoughts, and our work, and our presence, and our heart, and our vision, something changes. We change. Who we are changes. Our inner house changes. And our outer house, the way we are out in the everyday world, changes. We become the tribe of change masters. Simply by claiming who we really are. And as you see yourself as the splendid and beautiful spirit that you are, picture yourself standing in the center of the fourfold way, knowing that you are powerful and at home, no matter where you step. That there is an ease and beauty to moving as needed between one or the other of the ways. Knowing that when we bring all the four ways together into us and take it out into the world, that as spirit we are deepened, empowered, beautiful, and a splendid change maker for the world. And just bring that back with you from the silence, from the place you're sitting. And when you're ready, let it shine through your eyes when you open them. As ready. So just as a reminder, to just say again out loud, the Fourfold Way is about health, it's about beauty, it's about power, it's about aligning our inner house and our outer house, and bringing that forward into the world as a change agent, a change master. So we're reminded of the warrior whose mantra is, show up, choose to be present. Show up and choose to be present. And the warrior's empowering instrument is the rattle.
You gave it too long.
So the rattle, interestingly, has, as I have mentioned before, the work that Dr. Angeles did was very cross-cultural. Her expertise lies in cultural anthropology, and so a lot of the work that she came forward with in her short lifetime was very cross-cultural and very ancient, most of it. I mean, most of us remember rattles. I mean, that's one of the first things we buy a newborn baby, right? It's that imitation of the rain, and the rain is the cleanser. The rain is the purifier to clear the way for the warrior's energy. The visionary, tell the truth. Tell the truth. The bell. The bell empowers us by doing a couple of things. Most of us remember the church bells, calling us to church, pulling people together, and sharing the truth. And there's a certain clarity that's brought on when we hear the bell. There's a certain something that happens inside, and the bell is often used in meditation practice, in spiritual practice, in ritual. The vibration is there, reminding us to tell the truth. And telling the truth requires that we do so without blame or judgment. And that we are paying attention to the right time, making sure that we share the truth where it is ready to be accepted. That we don't use the truth to punish someone, to wound someone, to hurt someone, but instead we're using the truth to heal. And we're using the truth for ourselves as well. As a truth teller, we bring the truth not just for whom we're sharing it with, but for ourselves, to be the truth teller. The teacher. What is the teacher's mantra? Does anybody remember? It's my favorite one that I struggled with on Tuesday. Be open to outcome, not attached to outcome. These are actually Aboriginal song sticks, dreaming sticks they're called. They have a wonderful sound, I think. It's almost musical, yes? And along with sticks, the other thing that is brought in with this playing of the sticks is the idea of bones, because the ancestors are the ones present, standing behind each shoulder for you, with you, whispering, maybe this will be the one who will change things. Maybe this will be the one who will do away with that harmful behavior or pattern. Maybe this is the one who will bring wisdom forward. And the healer, the drum, the imitation of the heartbeat. You know, a lot of times in a workshop, everyone wants to be the drummer. So I did bring enough drums if we want to play together at the end. Sorry, they're a little cold. They were in my car overnight. Can you feel that one?
Yeah.
So the healer's mantra is, does anybody remember?
Pay attention.
Pay attention to what has heart and meaning. Pay attention to what has heart and meaning. And a lot of this depends on our ability to focus on our own highest good, our own well-being, because we bring, it's not, I don't know if I would say it's not possible. It's not as effective, I guess I would say instead, to work to bring healing into the world if we are not healed. So the invitation is to pay attention to what has heart and meaning, and make sure that our own life is feel of looking to our highest being, looking to our highest good, taking care of ourselves. And that means all the usual things: eating well, sleeping, being in nature, exercising, going for a walk, all the things that bring health and well-being, exuding love. And if you remember with the heart, there's a way to show up with a different kind of heart. There's a full-heartedness, right? There's a half-heartedness. There's a cloudy, not quite sure heartedness. Lots of ways that we can bring our heart forward. So it's about paying attention to what has that heart and meaning, and paying attention to the condition of our own heart and what we can bring to others through our heart. Okay, so the question I have for you today is, how many people got your notes out and maybe worked with some of the things that we covered last time? Would anybody be willing to share your experience with that? How was it?
Well, to be honest, it was a little, I don't know. It brought a sense of disappointment to me about myself. You know, that I don't feel like I do it as well now. Do what I have in the past done best and most honestly as well.
Okay. So what is that feeling instead? Can you name it?
What is the feeling?
The feeling that you're referring to, that I felt disappointed, but what is that feeling? What were you disappointed? Can you describe the feeling I felt?
Not enough, inadequate. But that's, been my personal lie for a long time.
Okay.
It,
And how do you deal with it in your life when that comes up?
well, I don't. That's the thing.
Okay. So, anybody else want to share before I, yeah,
Well, first of all, I feel a lot of confusion because there's so much,
it's a lot of,
and I'm a real head person, so I'm trying to understand it before I actually feel anything. But what's come to mind for me this week is that I feel like I've made in my life a transition from being passive, shy, insecure to more confident, straightforward, and powerful in a way.
Mhm.
But like most movements, you go beyond balance before you get back to balance. So I'm learning how to use my power, and I'm not doing a really good job of it. But it's interesting to me how I feel like in my relationship and in my family, I'm the one that takes control and does everything. If I don't do it, it doesn't get done. Plans and actions, and I didn't necessarily ask for that, but I also think it's a factor of women aging and hormonal changes. I think I'm getting more testosterone than I've ever had. So it's an interesting observation, and I see my sister in the same role. We do all the plans, we make sure everything gets done, we take responsibility for everything. But if we don't, it doesn't happen. So I've kind of, in my family, moved into the warrior. In the world, I still feel invisible.
okay.
I didn't take notes. I thought I'd asked to look at his and I didn't. But I looked more than one time at my little squares, the one that I was given and the one that I wrote, and thought about it. And there's this I think this relates just in part, parallelism to like the supporter or the leader and such. And historically, I think I was, somehow thought I was more the supporter, but then my comment last time, I really don't want to have to help. I think the supporter wants to. They might feel taken advantage of. But, and I think back, and it's like in my 4th grade picture, I'm like rebelling. I'm in my cutoffs and my shorts, so I'm in the back row with the guys and stuff. So I think I've been the warrior for a long time, but it just wasn't safe to express it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Because what might
you
happen?
got beat.
Yeah.
That's a reality.
So you got a negative response.
I watched it. I didn't need to do it myself. My brothers and such. Yeah.
So would it be safe to say you felt fear?
Oh yeah.
So you were afraid to truly show up. I mean, that is exactly what we do. We all do it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, in college, it's like, you know, it's like, what do I like? You know, I kind of like lost track of, you know, the stuff that would come from within, you know. I took the course, what color's your parachute? And they talked about what you like, and I go, well, I don't have an answer to that. And so I just gave myself permission to take the next year to sort that out. You know, so yeah, it's been an interesting reflection.
So one of the things that keeps us from becoming empowered is what Jung still calls the shadow. The shadow is when we're standing in warrior or visionary or teacher or healer, and we're afraid to step up. We're afraid to be empowered in that particular way. And so what I want to do is share a little bit about what the shadow looks like, because, well, Walt Whitman said, always turn your face to the sun. That way the shadow lies behind you. Mm-hmm. And I always love that. It is in one of his poems from the 1800s, Wordsworth. And I think, you know, while it's a clever saying, I think it's one of the most true things that we can embrace in our life is putting the shadow behind us. It can't hurt us back there. But what I want to do is talk a little bit about what the shadow looks like in each of these ways so that we can be on the lookout for it. And then work on how do we empower ourselves beyond the shadow, out front in the sunshine. Okay? So if you know what each of the ways is, the shadow is basically the opposite. Okay? So if the warrior is about showing up, being present, using your position, taking a stand, all of those things that we covered, what would the shadow look like?
Invisibility.
Invisibility?
Resentfulness. Resentfulness.
Yes.
I've got a whole bunch of that resentment. You know what has been happening for me is I've been remembering shit. That I notice I said remembering shit. I remember getting punched in the belly. I remember rescuing my little brother when one of the neighbor kids stole his bicycle, and I went out and shoved the kid off his bike, and I saved him. And what I got back was not positive. My daddy called girls pussies, and you let your pussy sister save your, and it was like, oh, I remember that, and it hurt my heart. It still does to remember that. And that whole thing about power that you're talking about is just like a wound that sometimes finds ways to just open up and bleed, and I don't know what to do with that, you know? Like my belly has been hurting because that kid punched me in the belly, and he punched me, boom, and it hurt. I never been punched in the belly like that because, you know, I could always take care of myself, and I did. But I got punched in the belly, and my belly hurts, and I still remember that, and my heart hurts, and all the rest of it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And you know what else I'm remembering? I've been playing in Facebook, and I found something came to me that I had written after something that we had done, we women, and Jana was in it, and all the women in the circle I'd studied with had responded to what I said, and I said something about hate because I've been dealing with this political bullshit we've been going through, and what I got back was something I'd written about you can't cure hate with hate, you know, you can't cure hate with hate, it isn't going to happen that way. And I did this whole big spiel, and everybody thanked me for saying that, and there was this whole big thing that I got back about that. And so I've been in that place of remembering And the shadow side that you're talking about of remembering has pain in it, pain in my heart and pain in my gut. Mostly it's a pain in my gut. Boom! And it's when the air goes out and there's no words. What do you say when somebody punches you in the gut and it hurts so bad you can't talk and it makes you want to just
Yeah.
blow up, you know?
Yeah. Of course we develop fear. We've been wounded. And especially getting wounded right in your power center. I mean, wow. And to be carrying it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to feed it ice cream. It's what I want to do. I'm going to go get me some ice cream.
Love it away. Love it away, yeah. So one of the things that happens when we have developed fear of getting wounded again, in whether it's physically or emotionally or mentally, one of the things we do is we tend to shy away and have authority issues. Someone who shows up in our life and has authority and expects us for that we automatically play the tape that says, I need to defer to the person with authority. Anybody have that one? Yeah, we all do, right? We all, at some level, there's this noticing the authority and how does that change how we choose to show up? I had a boss once who just intimidated me beyond saying a word. I mean, I would sit in the meetings like this. And, in retrospect, I realized that I was just making myself silent, making myself invisible because I was afraid of getting walloped somehow, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody done that? Yeah? So one of the things that happens is we begin to project the authority that should be ours. Authority, which comes from author, which means we write our own life story, right? We write our story with our presence, with our being. So what we do sometimes is we'll project that authority onto someone else because we're too afraid to claim it. So that's,
give it away, and
we
that's
give it
what
away,
I have
absolutely.
done. I don't like that. I'm mad about that. I gotta tell you, I'm really mad about that.
It's okay not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're big. You're a big.
I'm big,
Energy.
but I'm in a fucking wheelchair. I'm really pissed about
That
that. I
doesn't
gotta
change
tell you,
That does not change
it
anything.
changes it. It's changed. My whole life is fucking changed. Getting in and out of the car is different. I'm sorry. I'm yelling. I'm mad. I'm mad. I can't let go of mad.
Let me say to you,
Save me too.
you are a very powerful person. And it's okay to let that fear of getting walloped and cut down and put in your place, it's okay to let that go now. It's okay to let that go now. So anybody who has a rattle, we're gonna empower you. So the other, I'm going to give you another couple of ways that it shows up so you can recognize it when it shows up for you. Another way that we give away our power of showing up is we think we can claim power by association. What does that mean? Power by association means, okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you my direct experience of this one, which is my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law comes from the South, which I don't hold against him, but he has a slightly different way of interacting socially with people. And he has been wanting to return to the South, which was North Carolina, with my sister, and my sister didn't want to move back there because her kids and grandkids are all here. Long story short, they went back there and he insisted and they bought a house. And when they got back here to visit, I said, oh, I heard you bought a house. And here's what he said to me. Yes, it used to belong to a 5-star general. And my little alarm went off. And I thought, power by association. I'm powerful because I bought a house that used to belong to someone who's powerful in my mind. Wow. You know, but as you work this plan, the plan works you back. And you get the opportunity to see those things. And whether you see it in yourself or someone else, boom, there it is. And you recognize it. And you're closer to not falling for it, right? You're closer to seeing what it really is this person's attempt to be powerful in your eyes by association. It's the person at the party who name drops. Oh, I was partying with, I don't know, Bill Clinton the other day, you know, whatever. It's like, or a movie star, you know, I'm from LA. I spent a lot of time in Hollywood. Oh my goodness, the name dropping in Hollywood is pretty prolific. So, you know, pay attention to that one because you're going to see it more now that it's been named for you. You're going to notice it. Oh, you're laughing. Have you come in contact with it? Yeah?
Oh, mostly in fiction and stuff like that. I mean, you see that character all the time, you know, in good novels, you know, people written by people who understand humanity. It's almost a caricature.
It is, and it's almost like a cartoon, isn't it? It's like they're a hold of somebody's coattails and they're being pulled along behind this person, right? But they don't let go, right? Yeah. So we mentioned invisibility and holding back. Sometimes it isn't enough for us to try to make ourselves invisible, but we also have to be silent and not contribute, which is a form of invisibility, but it's where we are hiding.
It's withholding.
It's withholding, exactly. So holding back, and the other way that manifests is influencing what we want to influence from the sidelines or from the back door. Standing off the stage, behind the curtains over here, and shouting directions, right? So, manipulating, yes, manipulating and exerting control, but from behind, or from the side, or from behind the curtain, you know, the Wizard of Oz. Pulling back the curtain. Pulling back the curtain is important. Now, if you recognize any of these ways, and there's certainly, I'm sure, 100 more, but these are the ones I think are the most visible that I see. If you recognize any of these ways and you start doing those things, or you realize you have been doing those things, here's the good news. Whatever level of energy you are invested in hiding, or not showing up, or being invisible, or associating only with power, not being power. The level at which you're doing that, it's waiting for you tenfold when you come out of the shadow and show up. So the level of energy that you're invested in the shadow work is available to you tenfold when you come out of the shadow and claim the real thing, right? So don't be depressed by it. Don't be sad by it. Know that what you're looking at, if you find it there behind you, just know that if you decide to give that up and keep it behind you, that you're going to have tenfold that, and I'm making up that number, okay? But you're going to have a lot more. You're going to have a lot more energy in the power side of that equation. Okay, so the invitation is to say, oh, yeah, step forward into the sunshine, leave the shadow behind. Now, once you feel like you've done that, it doesn't mean it doesn't keep trying to show up. It'll just put on a different costume so you can't recognize it, right? It'll just keep showing up. It's the bad guy. And it has lots of ways to trick you. It has lots of costumes, and it'll show up as something else over here, something else over here, very disguised. So the more you grow, the more you will begin to recognize it in every disguise. So turn your face to the sun and leave the shadow to fall behind you.
Well, I'd like to understand it a little bit more, and it
Okay.
seems really subtle. And I've heard about it before in like lots of different ways, but I still can't like access it, or I don't feel like I have any knowledge of it, or because I'd like to understand it a little bit better in myself, but
Okay,
I can't
say
quite.
more. Like, can
can't-
you give me an example?
I can't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, I don't even really know how to start, because when I hear about it, I'm always kind of intrigued about it, because it's a part of everybody, and I like self-knowledge, so I want to kind of know a little bit more, so I can grow a little bit and understand myself a little better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you ever find yourself shrinking back a little if someone that you perceive to have more authority than you?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one for
Like
me.
at work?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
big one,
That's
yeah.
what it is, that's what we're talking
That's
about.
one of
That reaction
Okay,
is an action of not choosing to empower yourself.
okay.
That's choosing the shadow side, which is instead to hide your power. So it's very simply the opposite. Bring my power forward, hide my power. Bring my power forward, hide my power. Project the authority on that person because that person's my boss or my leader in some other way. Doesn't mean that you don't have authority. And it especially means, please don't give it away. Okay, so what is it you notice specifically? Is it something you do with your body?
Probably more in my mind.
Okay. Can you
And
say more?
sometimes in my body, sometimes in self-defense, and I almost feel like it's kind of assertive. I will just leave the situation. I'll just walk the other way instead of letting myself stay there and be intimidated or be part of the situation. I'll just leave.
Right.
And to me, that's assertive, and that's, that's
Okay.
a good thing to do. It's not, I don't feel like the best thing I would like to do, but I'd like to be more assertive,
Because why? What would happen if you stayed?
I don't know. I don't
Arguments?
know. I just never learned to be very assertive or anything, so.
Well, don't be fooled by being assertive. Don't be fooled that it means you have to cause a conflict or an argument. That's not what it means. It just means that you stay in your power, in your knowing about showing up. Doesn't mean you have to show them, okay? It means you have to be it. See the difference?
Maybe.
But how do you exert your own power without getting fired?
Well, that's kind of what she's saying, that you don't have to
It
go to
doesn't
that
have-
extreme. You're just
It doesn't mean you need to create a
you're
conflict
just
or an
kind of holding
argument.
you're holding your place.
You're holding it in you.
Holding your place,
You're holding your position,
right?
right? And when you hold your position, when you take a stand, doesn't mean you have to argue about it. You're the one who needs to know, right? And that person will eventually begin to recognize you as a powerful person.
And she won't mess with you.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, making yourself visible, mostly we push that away because we think that becoming visible makes us vulnerable. But vulnerable is not a weakness. Vulnerable is a strength. Vulnerable is power. Sometimes when you talk to the boss, they want to shoot the messenger, right?
Yeah.
But the messenger is not the message. Anybody else have something to share with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It seems that the analogy, which is a good one, was facing the sun and leaving the shadow in the back, but your shadow is still there because it keeps on following you. And the only way that I realized how to do that is actually to look at each one of the points that we listed and say, is this something that I do? Is this something that I do? And then successively, as you do more and more, the shadows, they disappear more and more. Okay, and then you don't carry the shadow behind you. You're looking at the sun, but at least you don't have your shadow behind you. That always will influence you in one. As a matter of fact, what it does is reprogram your subconscious mind. That's what you're doing. Your subconscious mind is totally reactive. And whenever you realize the situations that you're in, well, this shadow, this reaction comes out, right? And by observing yourself and say, oh, okay, well, I did that again. It's really work. I mean, you have to do that on yourself and work on it. And then successively what it does, it gets more and smaller and smaller.
That reminds me of a story I heard from a national sales director in my company who had a dream about a big, she was out on a boat in the ocean, the waves were coming at her, and she was fearful and hid under the deck, and then she came out on the deck and stood there and looked at the waves, and as she looked at it, it just dissipated. And I don't remember the situation, but that story struck with me, that when you face your fears, they go away. It's just a story I remember. Can't say that I do it. I probably do, but I don't even think about it. Well, I do. Doing things that are scary makes them less scary. Once you see that you survive it, you can do it easier and better the next time.
Right.
Well, there's another aspect to that too, is that what we have as a tendency is to say, oh, this was really bad. I didn't do good here. I should do much better. I should know about all that, right? And this has all to do with self-love. If you love yourself very strongly, you don't do that to yourself because it's putting yourself down. And there's no reason that you need to put yourself down. So working on self-love is very powerful too, to get around that.
Yeah.
Some of us learned how to be safe, how to be physically as well as emotionally safe by putting on that mask or smiling when we're mad, or we've got this great big fuck you in our hearts and in our souls and we can't say it, and so it comes out sideways in some other stupid way, and I think that we women have done more of that. Well, I see that women have done more of that than men have, because you guys have a better, easier time of telling somebody, I'll break your face, I'll punch your nose, get out of my space, shut up and go away. And it's more okay for you to do that than it is for me to do that. Because if I do that, that makes me, who knows.
So maybe now's a good time for me to deliver my mail on this. Okay, I guess when it comes to showing up or not showing up, and the assertiveness of maybe choosing your battles type of a thing is right. I'm just wondering, is that going through that process of deciding how to respond? Is that really just traversing these different areas?
It can be, absolutely.
Right, and so
Yeah.
right, and so you're going to be the visionary and
Tell the
tell the truth to yourself about this, and is it really worth the energy? And what is and maybe the teacher will tell you with wisdom what the risk is if you speak up. You will lose your job, and maybe with the right discernment. And I just feel like I just feel like you're constantly traversing through all these different energies, and there are masculine and feminine dominant energies here. So when you're talking about, you know, men and women, I think we all have the masculine and feminine energies as well, and so we have to traverse through that as well. And I guess I don't know how that's represented on this wheel, but I think in reality that is part of the human experience, and how we have to apply our energy and the right energy at the right time.
Apply the right energy at the right time.
Right on.
That says it
Beautiful.
all.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty important. I just was thinking about my cat, you know. My cat is a girl cat, and I don't think she has to go through all of it. She's a pussy cat, you know. And I call her that, and I pet her, and it's okay for her to be that, and it doesn't have anything to do with who she is in the world, or how she is, or who she talks to, or what her relationship is with the other kitties in the neighborhood, and that kind of thing, you know. I don't know how to do that.
So that's what we're here to learn, how to strengthen each one of the ways, the fourfold ways, to have the power when we need it in the situation.
Right.
And like Giovanni said, use discernment to know which is proper at the right time, which seems like wisdom.
Yeah, because what is shadow and not power is being a rebel. So, you know, being in rebellion, being the person who always goes the opposite direction just for becoming the rebel, you know, becoming known as a rebel, or having the rebel, you know, reputation, or the rebel performance, or whatever. So it is not being the rebel. It is not being the troublemaker. It's more about just being in your power, knowing who you are, and showing up that way, leaving the shadow behind as much as you can. And, you know, we all just get better, like Eric said, we get better over time because we actually start learning to recognize when we give away, when we don't show up, when we hide, when we become suddenly silent and invisible, when we don't make a stand. We start noticing that we're doing it, and that's the first step, right?
So is it fair to say that in recognizing your shadow, and casting a light on it, is really, I don't want to say canceling it out, but is making it where it's no longer shadow? And what does it become then, once it's recognized by shining a light on it? And so recognizing it.
You become the light.
You become the light,
I understand
and,
yeah, go ahead.
you know, at noon you don't have a shadow at all because you're standing immediately in the direct light.
Yeah, because the more the sun's overhead, the smaller your in reality, the shorter your shadow gets, right? Depending on the direction the light's coming at you.
Exactly.
Really long shadow. Yeah, exactly. Very good. That's a good. I like
So I
that.
have something. When you talk about, you know, just like rather than rebelling, just standing in your power. And I think you've been talking about, you know, it's not like you need to confront people or da 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 da. What comes to my mind is it's a difference between reacting and being.
Yes,
in your power.
yes, well said. That's what I was saying. It's just
Yeah.
about your being there, being in your place of power.
Or for
So-
that matter, acting. Because when you do it consciously, you can still do all the shadow work, the shadow reactions that you want, but if you do it consciously, it becomes a game, right?
So we know what the shadow looks like, and some of the things that we can do then on the other side of that to more fully empower ourselves are our instruments, playing the rattle, for example. Dancing. I love that one. Angela's always used to say, when did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop telling stories? So there's always a way to express. And these are ways that are empowering. Playing the instrument, singing, dancing, storytelling. And the style of meditation that's recommended to further empower your warrior is the standing meditation. Standing in your power, standing in the moment, standing in the truth, what has heart,
What is
wisdom.
standing meditation?
In other words, literally standing up in your meditation, not sitting. Like today we had a sitting meditation.
Oh.
So sitting is the observer, and walking is like the problem solver. Lying is the receiving, like the canoe in the water, receiving. So there's lots of ways that meditation can sort of lead into an empowerment piece. So for the warrior, it is the standing meditation, and it's about standing up, taking a stand, using the power of your position in that stand to be clear, to be in your power. Now, doesn't mean you can't do the other meditation. It just means that this one, research-wise, has been what's considered more empowering for that particular way.
There was a move I learned. I took a little bit of, was it Qigong or one of those things, and I didn't get it very well, and keep doing it. But the main, I guess it's a move that just empowered me was standing, and my arms are down, and I think the move we did, it came up, and it's like it came up with your arms up over your head, and then you received this energy, this power, and then I could literally feel it as I brought it through my body.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Me too. And I still remember it
Tai Chi.
sometimes.
I've been
Yes,
studying Tai
something
Chi
I took.
again lately.
And I still, I'll go outside sometimes and I'll just do that. And it just feels so empowering. Yeah.
And you've touched into something we're going to do at the end today to close, which is to write your power song. So just a little foresight.
Okay.
Because
My
it's
power
so
song.
powerful to have a song that's yours, that you can sing and stand in. Yeah. Okay. So, how many people actually own a rattle? Yeah.
At home.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to do a little rattling? Because that's the empowering instrument. Or we can wait and do the rattling when we do the song. Okay. Then let's go ahead and move to the healer.
We did some rattling earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always open to rattling. If anybody else wants to rattle, I do.
Okay, let's, I think I'll hold it and we'll do it all together at the end. Does that work
Sure.
Yeah.
for you guys? Okay, so I'm gonna move to the healer. And the healer, as you know, is the drum. And the drum is, as I said earlier, is the imitation of our heartbeat. And it certainly crosses all cultures. We see it in every culture. And one of the things about the healer, whose mantra is,
Tell the truth.
Pay attention to what is heart and meaning.
Oh,
Pay attention to what has heart and meaning.
I'll write that down.
and to be healed yourself.
Right, exactly. So I want to skip to, well, let me cover this. The empowering tools for the healer, the drum, as we said, and paying attention to what kind of heart you are bringing. So I mentioned earlier that we can show up in our heart, but we can show up half-hearted, where we're only sort of kind of in it. And, you know, we're holding back our full heart. We're only showing up half-hearted. We're showing up either open or closed-hearted. When we close, we're protecting ourselves. You were talking about protecting ourselves, learning to protect ourselves, being vulnerable, when in fact, being vulnerable is an act of power. So becoming open-hearted, not be partially closed or all the way closed in order to protect ourselves. Being clear-hearted, which means we're not confused about it. We're not doubting that our heart is in play. We're not confused whether our heart is in play. We're not cloudy about whether our heart is in play. And then the last one is what's called the strong-hearted, which is when we are not strong-hearted, we are lacking courage. You know, the word for heart in French and Latin is cœur, C-O-E-U-R. It means the heart, and it's the root word for the word courage. So it means we're full-hearted, we're clear-hearted, we're strong-hearted, and open-hearted. So those are all ways that we show up in the healer archetype, either fully or not at all. So the opposite of showing up, full, clear, open, and strong-hearted is what?
Invisible.
Also a form of invisibility.
Coward is what comes to me, scaredy cat.
The opposite of courage, yes. So we said earlier, when we're not taking care of ourselves, when we are not healed, when we are not tending to our own health and well-being, when we are not doing life-affirming things, heart-affirming things for ourselves, when we're playing the martyr, you know, being wounded so badly that we decide to become the martyr, which is a role we play. And it's actually one of the addictions of not being full-hearted. It's like there are 4 addictions to really having a full, clear, strong, open heart. Number 1 is the addiction. I'm going to call it an addiction because I think that's what it is. An addiction to intensity. So we do that when we have a low tolerance for boredom, and so we kind of tend to dramatize or sensationalize our stories or exaggerate our stories. Why? Because it makes us feel alive, right? And aliveness is the full heart, the full, clear, strong, open heart. Is fully alive. So we're seeking aliveness, but not the right one. Does that make sense? We're seeking alignment and we're doing the shadow take on aliveness. we're having intensity, we tell a story about ourselves and we exaggerate to make it more exciting because we're addicted to have it be exciting.
Or bungee jumping.
Sorry?
Or bungee jumping.
Yeah. I mean, I'm adventuresome, but I'm not sure it's about, I just want to have the experience, which is different from I need to feel alive.
Mhm.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really different.
Mhm.
So so addiction to intensity, addiction to my favorite, perfection. So what happens is that we just can't tolerate making a mistake. Or the way the circle is going. I can't tolerate that. It's not going exactly the way I want it to go or the way I foresaw it should go. And we practice in this place is where we practice what I referred to earlier as the fear of vulnerability, where we see vulnerability as weakness rather than power. It's strength. Vulnerability is strength. When we are willing to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, it's because we're strong, because we're powerful. Okay? The third addiction is the need to know, also one of my favorite working places. So we need to know. We don't like surprises. We need to know how it's going to be ahead of time. And we need to control how it's going to be ahead of time. And we don't do well with unexpected events or someone surprising us. And we want to master it. We want to control it. And when we're in that place of not accepting that we can't control, it means that we have trust issues. We cannot trust that all is well. So trust issues is a really big one. And I have people in my life that I sometimes wonder if I feel safe trusting them. And one of the things that I do, the shadow thing that I do, is not recognizing that it's because I don't trust myself about something that I then project that lack of trust on someone else. Because they've shown me maybe once in the past that I can't trust them. So there's this tug of war between trusting and vulnerability and strength and weakness. Anybody have that experience? No?
Trust,
Oh, yeah.
trust,
Probably.
trust, yeah.
I have a coworker that always has to be excited.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking. I have to leave the room sometimes just because everything's an expletive. Everything.
Just let me breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, exciting is a word that we use a lot in our culture right now. And I think
Well,
a
yeah.
lot of it comes from the tech world.
Oh, from
Because
media,
there's
yeah.
exciting new news that pops up on your screen. The exciting new this, the exciting new that.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Yuval Harari. And he was writing about the 21st century and what's ahead and in store for us technologically and so on.
Uh-huh.
And he even uses that word. He says, everything's exciting. We have too much excitement.
Yes.
Information is suddenly exciting. Who knew? and he said, sometimes I just feel like I have to back up because he says we're up against algorithms who are programmed to make everything on your screen exciting, so you click on it.
Get your attention.
Get your
And
attention.
when you watch the news, breaking news.
Yeah.
It's like,
What is it?
Yeah, exactly.
breaking.
Yeah.
You have a bad new president.
Yeah, but pay attention. It can be an addiction.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm referring to.
Oh, yeah.
The addictive part of that, right? So we're addicted to, I need something I need to learn something exciting. I need to watch something exciting. I need to see an exciting video or an exciting new breakthrough information or
So aren't they saying that
overuse.
that's programming young people's brains to require that from an early age because they don't know how to
Yeah.
not
They
be
don't know how to stand still.
they don't know how to not be addicted
No.
to
Well, they have a very
media.
short attention span.
Yeah. But
As
you're
a
right.
result of, you know,
Yeah.
shorter and shorter clips. Yes,
Is this all, this is all in the healer,
shadow of the healer.
yeah. It seems pretty generally applicable though.
Yes, but that's
It
where she
affects a lot of
but that's where
life.
she applies it. She thinks it's the most applicable in the healer quadrant.
Uh-huh.
Who's she?
But you're right.
And
All of
who's
these
Arian?
things
Is
apply
she-
all the way around.
Yeah.
But some of them she finds through her research
Okay.
are more applicable in certain quadrants.
Well, I mean, if the mantras pay attention to what has heart and meaning,
Exactly.
addiction is the antithesis of paying attention.
Yes.
That's for sure. I mean, just
And
writ large.
having an algorithm or a group or a person constantly needing to excite us,
Yeah.
but does it have heart and meaning?
No.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, most of
Right.
the time.
Most of the time it doesn't.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
occasionally.
Because
Usually had to one time, otherwise it wouldn't be effective.
And I like what he says. He says, information is a form of excitement. And then he says, we're just obviously overwhelmed with too much information. But he says, information is cheap. Truth is expensive.
Yeah.
He says, because with truth you have to stop and do the research, look it up, find out what's true,
Put it
all
in
of that. Which
context.
you have to invest time and energy and sometimes money to find the truth.
Yeah.
But he said information is everywhere, be careful, you're just stepping on it. It's so everywhere.
But,
And he-
but there's a shortcut to that, right? The shortcut is using your antenna. I mean, ask yourself inside, is this true?
Does it have heart and meaning?
That's right, but you don't need to
Yes.
do the research.
Yeah.
Just feel it.
Uh-huh.
And if you feel it that it's true, then you have the guarantee to move on. But if you don't get that, just ignore it.
I'm not sure you have a guarantee. You have some affirmation, but I don't trust my intuition that completely. It's not always right. It's gotten me in trouble too many times.
And sometimes,
You have-
sometimes facts are
Thank you,
important.
Ananda.
True,
What?
And
but
sometimes
if you
facts are important for determining truth.
don't trust it, okay, this is where it gets you in trouble. This is the whole issue about the faith that we have in ourselves. It is.
Well, it may be true for you, but I bet you the people that are happy that we have our new incumbent president have that truth and they feel it right inside of them too. Truthfully,
And other people have another feeling.
Yeah, right,
No,
right,
but you-
right. But it isn't like because
No.
we get the, is it true? It doesn't mean that it is universally true for everyone.
No. The problems that we have is we cannot discern between the response of our soul and the response of our ego. Okay.
Well, okay, if you put it that way, sure. But it's really hard to make that distinction.
Yes, but you have to practice it to get better at it.
Well,
That's
Absolutely
a
true.
key element. And once you are more and more, how do you say, trusting it, then it becomes second nature. You do it all the time. I do it more and more.
Well, sometimes, when you get those little hairs that stand up on the back of your neck,
that's
it's
usually-
like, yeah,
When your
it's
twin
like,
meter
it
goes off.
could mean a whole lot. It could mean I'm not safe, I better get out of here
Yeah.
now. Or it could mean like some other thing. It doesn't
can,
have
right,
to
but,
mean
yeah.
what somebody else is saying about something.
Well, and sometimes
Go.
truth requires,
No, this is all good stuff. I don't want to miss it. Because-
and sometimes truth, depending on what the topic is, requires facts,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
not just our intuition
What-
or our gut response.
But it's just for me, it's to get engaged. Okay, to say, yes, this is something that is important. I should look into it.
But are we also at the risk of allowing our shadow to masquerade as a positive trait? And which I think Ananda's going there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
right, so people that are sincere in their beliefs and their actions, their intents, but really, you mentioned ego, I was gonna ask about that too, so thank you for putting that word in there. I feel like the ego has maybe a direct line to the shadow, and they're in cahoots with each other to masquerade and create this, your true self, but it's really not your true self, it's your
Correct.
shadow surfacing through your ego, and that throws off your discernment.
Well said, thank you.
Okay.
Both are probably true. Both points are probably true. Yeah.
To who?
No, really.
It's really your shadow.
No, to yourself at the end. Because believe it or not, we are all silos. Okay? We are all silos.
What?
I cannot understand you a bit. I can spend hours with you, I will never understand you. And you will never understand me. Because we are these silos, it is our own unique experience, and we have to accept that.
Ooh.
You can get a lot of insight. You may not fully understand.
I like what you're saying, except I personally don't believe in a silo with boundaries. I think we're all connected, all one.
It's
So how do we have a silo that has a boundary and still be all one?
it's energetic, right? We are okay, you have this
Yes, the
field.
energetics, yes,
Yeah.
I didn't understand that's what you were saying.
No, but you have this field that you're building up as yourself. This is all you, okay, out of this, this unique part. And yes, you exchange with everybody else, but this unique form, all these frequencies, and there are millions of frequencies that make who you are. They're unique to you. This is how I understand the silo.
But is it impenetrable to understanding? I mean, it sounded a little harsh to say that you can't understand another person at all. I'm not sure that that's true. We have a lot of things in common.
Right, you can understand aspects of the person.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And generalities. I mean, we have all eyes and
Right.
arms and stuff. So you understand this part, but when you take truly as a true person, what all the parts of a person is, I will never understand Kay from that standpoint, and I've lived with her for over 30 years.
Sure.
So, what form of meditation do you think would work for the healer best?
What was the
Singing.
fourth addiction? What was the fourth addiction?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, right. We've got one more addiction.
Or
Skip it.
Intensity,
Martyrdom,
perfection.
Or was martyring.
Need to know.
number one.
That sort of triggered the discussion.
Okay.
You've said intensity, perfection, need to know.
Oh, the last one is believing that things aren't working in your life and only paying attention to that. So, for example, focusing on what's not working,
Negativism.
negativity, being
Okay.
fixated on what you perceive as not working rather than what is working. And when we do that, we have a tendency to like magnify the bad things and the
Sure.
negative things, and oh, my life's falling apart, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and today this happened, and
Some people live in that.
I know.
And those are the people I choose to
So
disassociate.
energy sucking, yeah? Don't you just feel empty
Yeah.
afterwards? Yeah.
I think about that, and I think about my grandma a lot. My grandma was this old country woman, and she never used recipes for anything. When she'd make stuff, I would watch how she made it, and I try to measure, in my mind and write down what she put in there, like cornbread. I got grandma's cornbread in my mind, but grandma had a story that she told about the ducks. And the ducks, grandpa had ducks like this with those big old long necked Donald Duck kind of ducks. And one day she's outside working and the ducks are all laying around and she thought they were dead. And grandma made everything. And you know what she did? She plucked them all and threw them up under the eaves of the shed. And she went back to work, and pretty soon she sees all these naked ducks running around. And she didn't know if she was going to cook them and make duck soup, because she didn't know she called it poison. She didn't know what the poison was, what the poison was they'd been into.
Poison?
Yeah, you know what the poison was? Grandpa's mash. Grandpa's mash out in the shed. And she didn't know that, so the ducks was out there walking around staggering, and they'd have been mighty damn unhappy if they hadn't been so hungover, And so that's what I try to remember is stuff from my grandma and what I learned about how she cooked and lived and made everything and did it. Is that silly? That's fucking
No,
silly.
that's awesome.
Is that a good story?
Not sure how to apply it.
Sorry.
That's fine.
It wasn't winter, I hope.
I don't remember. Grandma used to make pillows and comforters and put feathers in them, and she did a lot with the feathers. I think she still uses the duck feathers even if she didn't cook them. I don't know if she cooked them or
Yeah,
not.
probably.
Okay, so negativity or fixating on what's not working. So, yeah. So, wow. Whew.
So, let's move
Those
to,
are heavy.
yeah, I recognize all of them.
Friends. Hangers on.
So, let's move to visionary. And the mantra for the visionary is
Tell the truth.
tell the
Tell the
truth
truth with it.
without judgment or
Yeah,
blame.
yeah, right, yeah.
And the instrument is for clarity,
Oh, yeah.
right? And also, as we said earlier, for calling people together. And also, when I say calling people together, it also has a reference and a whole piece attached to it around what is your calling in life? What is your purpose? What is the bell calling you to? And finding that. We're not gonna be able to delve into some of these things, unfortunately, time-wise.
That just reminded me, the bells of Notre Dame rang out on the 8th
Yes.
of November
Yes, they
as a
did.
trial, and they're going to open on December 8th with 3 new bells, and that was like calling the
So you're talking
people.
about in Paris?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that's
they're
amazing.
calling the people together.
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, still,
Again, after 5 years of silence.
yeah. And after 1,000 years of calling people with the bells, at least, right? So the spiritual call, the authentic personal call, the calling people together, and the creation of clarity. A good bell, that clarity is just crisp, it's right there. And when you hear it, you respond to it, right? And you get really, for me anyway, I find I get really focused. It's like that clarity is right there. Wow, there it is. Boom.
Did we have the meditation for the previous one for the healer? Or did I miss that?
Oh,
The healing was lying down. Did I not?
Lying
Did I
down?
skip that?
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh,
that's,
you guys,
I know.
sorry. Yeah, it's
And
lying down.
storytelling is the
For the healer is lying down because that's the heart position.
Okay.
Oh, so I've been looking at lying ever since I got here, thinking that was the shadow side. Now I see it's the meditation. It's like, why are there no other shadows in here except the healer is lying? But yeah, it's lying down. Okay, got it.
I just realized that myself.
Okay. I'm just tracking the time. I want to keep moving. Is it okay to move on to visionary? So the bell, calling people together, calling for clarity, our personal calling and purpose. And the visionary I love is the walking meditation, which is probably my favorite, because it's really kind of the way I use it for problem solving. If I have something going on that I need to figure out, I walk my meditation, because for some reason it comes to me when I walk. It's just right, just comes in. And it's, I'm focusing on it. You have to focus on it for that to happen, but I let go of worrying about walking. I walk someplace safe where I don't have to be constantly looking where I'm going. And things are revealed while I'm walking. Have you had that experience?
All
So
the
for
time.
me, it's like, I can't figure it out, I'm going for a walk. So walking meditation, and I call it the problem solving meditation. So, the visionary mantra, tell the truth, is telling the truth without judgment or blame, and that's the catchy part. And also right timing is really important. We talked about it earlier. But whenever we lack the courage to do just that, to be who we really are, to tell the truth as we see it, then we move into something she has a whole section on that she calls self-abandonment. And the metaphor she likes to use is your house. You are the house. And when you abandon yourself, mostly you walk out the front door. In other words, in plain view. You're not sneaking out the back door. You just, boom, charge out the front door. In other words, if you're going to abandon yourself and who you really are, you do it big. You go out that front door. And so it's about leaving behind our personal authenticity, our personal truth. It's in some ways, it's a form of denial of ourselves, who we are. And then what do? Instead, we create the false self, which we love to feed with stories. So there's this whole self-denial and loss of authenticity and loss of the true self, and then what we do generally is we project our true selves onto someone that we like it on, that we think it looks good on.
That is so complicated.
I know.
How the heck does that happen?
I know. It sounds complicated. I don't think of it as complicated. It sounds complicated because we're using a lot of words to describe it. But it's a very simple thing where we leave ourselves behind. We walk out the front door and we then project ourselves onto other people because we don't have the courage to carry it.
So becoming a follower, if you will,
It's
or
about creating a false self.
sycophant?
It's like the facade. You know how we know how to create a facade about who we are.
Kind of putting a mask on.
It's like a mask.
So does
yeah.
it have to be a certain type of person or situation?
It's whoever you're gonna look out there and you're gonna see the person that fits that you would like to have carrying it for you. And you're gonna project it on that person.
Then you're gonna start identifying with them and having like kind of a little bond with them.
Yes, it's like, I can't do it for myself, so you're doing it for me and I'm watching from the outside. I know it's kind of a big deal, but
I'm sure I've done it. It sounds like I have done it, but I'm just trying to realize it. Go ahead.
okay, as a mother, do you ever project your dreams on your child? Or a father?
Sure.
On your kids?
Isn't that what all parents do? Live through their kids vicariously.
You know, there was a time in our culture, and I'm sure it still occurs, where dad decided who you were going to be. You were going to be him. You were going to do all the things that he never did. And you're going to go into the line of work that he did.
Right. Yeah.
And never mind you want to be a ballet dancer, you have to be a welder.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that's who I am. Does that make more sense? Yeah. I know that it's really easy to live vicariously through your children. Right?
I think I did it somewhat up until a certain age and then started realizing otherwise and just letting them be. Because I went to college and neither one of my kids both tried and they were just like, it's not my thing. I started having some realizations about that time that it just wasn't for them. For me, it was everything. But
Yes,
for them,
there
it
it
was-
is, exactly.
It
Yes.
was like they had to try really hard and it just didn't mean anything to them. So I was like, okay.
You nailed it, that's it exactly.
Yeah, cool.
There's a lot of reasons that we choose to abandon ourselves. I think number one that I see is lack of courage. We don't have the courage to truly be who we are. We give it up. We abandon ourselves in order to get someone's love. Something that I'm really way too familiar with, which is I became the peacekeeper in my family in order to get my mother to love me. Right? What do we do to get that love? What we think we have to do something to get that love. Or we have to be someone other than who we are, because it doesn't look like she loves me how I am. So I have to abandon myself and become someone else that I've decided she would love. Yeah, that's a big one.
I think
That's
it's
a big one
complicated.
for me.
Yeah.
Someone else's acceptance. We do it for that. We do it for approval by someone else. We do it, as I said, to keep the peace.
To stay safe.
To stay safe, to maintain balance, especially in a family dynamic or a relationship dynamic, we're worried about balancing that in a way that demands that we be someone other than who we are. And so a lot of it's to create the harmony that we want in our life. Right? It's like we want to create the harmony. We want to be the peacekeeper because we want peace. But what we don't realize often is peace comes from being who you are. Peace comes from being authentically you, not someone else, not abandoning yourself and becoming what you think is acceptable or what you think will be approved. Right? So that's the visionary's shadow, because it's all about we're not telling the truth about who we are, right? I really like the bell for the visionary. I think that's probably, I mean, I keep thinking, I move around. Oh, the drum's my favorite. Oh, the rattle's my favorite. Oh, the bell's my favorite. You know, it's just like, oh, the sticks are my favorite. I don't know. Some days the bells just call me more, especially in the morning. Just that clarity, having that clarity in the morning of getting up, knowing who I am, knowing what I want to accomplish that day, if anything, or if I'm going to just play, or how I'm going to express love that day. You know, whatever it is, getting clarity. I don't know, I find it really happens best for me when I'm getting out, just like I'm lying there getting ready to get out of bed in the morning. There's something about that. And my alarm clock is a chime, it has a chime. So it plays that bell, you know, I get that little guy, this guy, it sounds just like this.
No.
But it's softer.
Is it?
And then it goes like 30 seconds. And then it gets softer, softer. Did you see how it vibrates on from there?
Mhm.
There's something about that. It's like, okay.
So does the bell just on a physical or maybe a frequency?
The frequency does make a difference for us,
Right,
yes.
exactly. So I feel like the word resonate kind of resonates
It
with me on
resonates
this.
with you, yeah.
Right, exactly. You know,
Right.
and so even does that ring a bell for? I see the bell.
Yeah, it always refers to clarity.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Right, and so
Yeah.
on the physical plane of frequency, I think it actually energetically interacts with your physical the body part of the complex, not just the spiritual and mental, but it hits you on the physical, and then since you're exist in three parts, that's the entry point, the physical, and then it resonates with your mind and your spirit, and so just came to mind.
Well, I like the distinction you make
Yes.
about how it's much more physical than some of the others.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody. But noticing that it's different for you is really a positive.
Well, he was visionary too, so it's like it would mean more for you.
Right. Right.
It resonates.
Resonates, yes,
Literally.
exactly.
Yeah, and I brought my bell not knowing this would be, with the visionary ring.
So, I'm watching the time. I want to,
You got to do teach.
we will, but I want to do something that's related to the visionary
Okay.
before we move on. And it's a little exercise which will require writing. Everybody has something. And what it is I mentioned that the visionary has the added aspect of not just calling in your clarity or other people to come together, but calling in your vision for your life, your purpose, your calling, if you will. And so I want to just take about 10 minutes and have you do an experiment. And does everybody know what the poetry, a haiku poetry is?
I don't know how to
It's
say
a
I don't remember the
575,
rules, but
yeah.
yes, there's
It's a 575, so it means you're gonna write a poem about your life calling, whatever you know about it. You're gonna write 3 lines. The first line is gonna have 5 syllables. The second line is gonna have 7 syllables. And the last line has 5. So 5, 7, 5. Okay. So, for example, the first line might be, the ocean flows home. Something like that. Okay, so just each syllable is a count, not each word, each syllable. And we're gonna take a few minutes for you to write that down about your personal calling or purpose. So I'm just gonna let the bell talk a little bit while you're working. The bell is empowering. The invitation is to write a poem about your personal life calling.
Okay.
3 lines.
Your paper is blown around that.
Okay.
Haiku. And just 3 lines. 5, 7, 5. 5 syllables. Line 1. 7, line 2. 5, line 3. Do you understand?
Life calling.
About your personal calling and purpose. Does anybody need more time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we gonna share?
Yes. You know it.
That's the best part, is the sharing and the listening and caring and being together in a good way. You got it? There it is.
Okay. And now, allow yourself to hear a tune when you read those words.
Hear a tune. Oh. Paul Simon, where are you?
It's just what it is. So I'm purposely not giving you a lot of time because I want it to be an intuitive sound. So let's go ahead and share, if you're comfortable, share your haiku. First read it, and then if there's a song, if there's a way to sing it, go ahead and do that next. Okay? Who's ready? Yes.
Right, so what I wrote down is, where did I put it? Being of service, following my intuition, surrender to love. And I didn't like it too much, so I asked ChatGPT to formulate a haiku.
Hey.
Not
So-
fair.
What?
No,
So
that
when
is
I-
wrong.
But no,
I
but
didn't hear what you
listen.
said, I'm sorry.
Then I asked ChatGPT to reformulate the haiku because I didn't like too much and came out. So what I had myself is being of service, following my intuition, surrender to love. And ChatGPT came back and says, serve with open heart, intuition guides the way, surrender to love.
He
I thought it
cheated
was
on
pretty
the test.
good.
Yeah, AI did good for you. I've been reading an article about how AI is gonna read our minds, I've been reading that article about that in my magazine.
It flows better, I mean, honestly. I like it.
No.
Wrong?
It's wrong.
Who else is ready?
Oh,
Do you have a
the
song?
tune, yeah.
Are you gonna
You
sing it
gonna
then?
sing it?
Let it be, let it be, let it
No,
be.
no, you have to sing the thing.
Sing
to
the
thing.
words in that tune, please.
Oh, my words in that tune. Well, this is gonna be difficult then. I'll
It's
think.
okay, just
I'll
however it
rethink
comes
it.
out. It's not,
It's tough because
Serve with an open heart. Intuition guides the way. Surrender to love.
that's nice, that works, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else feel comfortable?
Well,
Yeah.
not the singing though.
It's up to you,
Okay.
it's a power song.
Beauty is around, enjoyment for all of us. Open your eyes and see.
Oh, that's lovely. I like that a lot. Can we
Yeah.
write these down and keep them for each other?
Oh, you have some recorded.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, do you
I don't have
feel
a
comfortable?
singing.
Just make something up as you go. Yeah.
Beauty is around, enjoyment for all of us. Open your eyes and see.
Beautiful.
very nice.
That's lovely.
Yeah, well done. Nice
Very
song.
nice, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for pushing me to be positive or courageous.
Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is the beginning of your power song, so.
Mhm.
Anybody else feel comfortable sharing? Yes?
Go ahead.
Please.
All right. Freedom sings clearly. A dewy morning shines bright. Mistakes do limit. Let's see. Freedom sings clearly. A dewy morning shines bright. Mistakes do limit.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, thank you. Linda?
Okay. To be who I am, finding my way through the mire, standing in my truth.
I like that. Wow, that's
They're all good, aren't they?
I had tunes go through my head. To be who I am, finding my way through the mire, standing in my truth.
Yeah. Yay.
That is a power song, Linda.
Anybody else? Don't have to, just if you would like to.
Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Oh,
I wrote color the darkness with light, laughter, hope, and bright sunrise and sunset.
Wow,
Wow.
that's pretty.
Can you read it again, please?
Yeah, let me turn off the phone and I'll just.
Is that your phone going on? I left my phone in Eric's car.
it's the
That's good.
landline
Oh,
that we never answer.
and John's got a landline and a cell, and he calls me on his landline, and I call him back on the cell. And it's a weird thing that we do, but it's a stupid little phone game we play.
Cindy.
Color the darkness with light, laughter, hope, and bright sunrise and sunset.
Maybe you should be writing poetry, Cindy.
Maybe I just will.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Well, and then, well,
Is there, can you hear it?
yeah, but if I sing it, my face will turn red. Coloring the sunrise with red faces.
It's safe to show up here.
Well, I've had my voice denigrated. Well, the song is Morning is Broken.
Oh.
I'll probably
Just be, you can.
color the, I can just color the darkness with light, laughter, hope, and bright sunrise and sunset. Okay.
That was a.
That's
Okay,
okay.
let it
That's okay.
percolate a little.
See?
You're right. You are red.
I told you I would.
No need to fear us.
It's okay. It's
We love
okay,
you, you
Cindy.
In fourth grade, we had a choir, and a lady came in and she, arranged us, and then she'd have you step out and put you somewhere else. Well, she never put me back.
Oh,
So
She didn't put you back?
No.
So he could have put you back.
Well,
brother.
Get back now where you belong, girl.
Those things are so harmful. Ugh,
yeah,
I hate
yeah.
stuff like
It's that early
Yeah,
programming.
sticks with you all your life. I had a mean teacher like that, or thoughtless. I think they were thoughtless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still have that. You carry that with you for a while.
So, anybody else? Giovanni?
Sure. Um, seeking my purpose. I do not know what it is. My heart will guide me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Very nice.
that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't prepared to sing, but maybe can I just ring a bell and for the clarity, and I'll just speak over it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that cheating?
It might come out musically.
You might.
Okay. Seeking my purpose. I do not know what it is. My heart will guide me.
That's very creative.
Yeah. Lovely.
Miss Laurel.
And I was late, so I have caring, love, and time, giving self to the moment, and I didn't finish I didn't get a last line on it, but that's.
So if you had to make one up right now, what would it be?
I have no idea.
No last line for me.
Yeah. But it does, like you said, giving it a time limit, it really does force you to try to think quickly and
Get clear.
Yeah.
Get clear.
Yeah.
Then go.
Yeah.
Get clear, then go.
But I was happy with, because I couldn't get the syllables to work out.
Could you repeat it?
Caring, love, and time, giving self to the moment. I was trying to picture, because I knew we were going to do this exercise, but I was trying to picture different moments in my life that would have me think of what my purpose was, or what were like meaningful times in my life, like when I go to work to wait on a customer, or when I'm with my family or my grandson. So that was kind of my. There's so many ways you could go with it that it's interesting. Yeah.
So I want to put you to just put a pin in your song for now, and we are going to come back to it at the end. So let it move around in there if it wants to.
I got a pin, I got a star, I got a little star on mine. It's not exactly a pin.
You do want to go. I'm sorry. I thought you didn't go
I
on purpose.
didn't-
Okay.
No, I didn't, I don't want to sing, but I want to have a little rhythm with it. So I'll have
Okay.
a little rhythm, but it's not going to be musical, okay?
Go.
Listen and give back. Listen with my heart and mind. Give back with my heart.
Arlene has a great voice. I always tell you that. You have such an awesome voice, Arlene. I
Oh,
love
thank
your
you. It
voice.
comes from working with the kids in the
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
and playing with them, I've been thinking the other day how I was playing that, not Arlo Guthrie song, I don't want a pickle, I just want to ride my motorcycle. And I taught that to the kids and they loved it. And every time they see me, they, oh, Miss Rose, can we sing the pickle song? And they'd meet me out there at my car and it'd be always about the pickle song, And so it's fun,
Can you read it once? Because I want to get all the words. Go ahead.
What I said?
Yeah.
Listen and give back. Listen with my heart and mind. Give back with my heart.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, thank
So it's nice that everybody was willing to share it. I appreciate you. Thank you. So we're going to put a pin in that song And we're gonna come back to it at the end, so don't lose it. We're gonna move on to the teacher. And the mantra for the teacher is,
Be open to outcome.
Not attached to.
What are you guys saying? I
being
can't
open
hear
to
you.
outcome, not attached to outcome.
Well, not attached to outcome. No wonder I couldn't hear that.
The sticks are the empowerment tool for the teacher, because the teacher is all about wisdom, and wisdom is about being open to what is and not attached to what is. The teacher is about making something available but not attached that it gets adopted or it is learned or it is used, but instead putting it out there in wisdom, knowing that if it's a fit, it will be picked up. So one of the things about the sticks is, the other possibility for sticks is bones. I said earlier that the teacher has a connection to ancestry, our ancestors standing behind us. And in her book, she talks about, one on behind our right shoulder and one behind our left shoulder, whispering wisdom in our ear, whispering wisdom in our ear. And I love that image because just thinking about, how does wisdom come to you? How does wisdom come to you? And are we hearing it in our head? Are we hearing it being whispered in our ear? Or is it some other way that wisdom shows up for you?
Mostly through bitter experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so some of the attributes of the teacher are the silence, about listening for the whisper, listening for the experience to teach me, listening for the experience to show me, listening for the experience to inform me. And it's kind of like, I'm a water sign, and I am really a water person. I live on the water and I adore the water. I am the water. And the ocean is such a great example. You've heard me say before, nature is the blueprint for living. And the ocean shows us how to be silent, how to make noise, how to move, how to stop moving, how to retreat, all those things. It's an amazing teacher, and one that I pay attention to. And the ocean also, in my opinion, the ocean shows me how to be detached. It comes up to the shore, but then it goes, oh, okay. And it goes back out. And a little wave separates itself from the whole ocean and comes into the shore, up on the sand, over your toes. And then it goes back to mama, goes back to the ocean, and becomes part of something bigger every time. And so there's this sense of flexibility, a sense of fluidity, a sense of both coming and going, but always there, taking different shapes, right? There's a certain lesson in, I would call it resilience. And these water traits are all applicable to the teacher. Being fluid, being open to outcome, being resilient, changing shapes, making the food available but not forcing us to eat. right? So, so because wisdom is such a big player in this particular archetype, the meditation is sitting, the sitting meditation. So a lot of what I would characterize, maybe this isn't the right way, but the way I would characterize it is waiting for the wisdom to come. Sitting and waiting for the wisdom, waiting for the whisper of the wisdom in your ears from the ancestors, from the people who have gone before us, the wise ones. So there's a certain, there is a certain detachment. Wisdom comes in and washes over us and changes us, but we don't necessarily grab hold of it. We don't necessarily have to hold it. It's like you're walking and you see a beautiful flower. You don't have to pick it to appreciate it, right? You can leave it there as a thing of beauty and appreciate and enjoy it, but you don't need to pick it, which will kill it, right? So there's this detachment, a little bit of a detachment edge on the teacher. Now, if clarity and discernment and detachment and fluidity and resilience, if all those things are part of the teacher, then what does the shadow look like? What do you think the shadow looks like?
Being squashed.
Me, yes.
Attachment.
Fear. It looks like fear.
Attachment?
Attachment.
Yes. What?
Fear.
Fear of?
Darkness. Not knowing. Not really knowing. Not being sure. Like what the hell is this?
Yeah. Okay.
Rigidity.
Rigidity, absolutely. Control, which is the opposite of trusting the outcome.
Yeah.
Control is the opposite of trusting the outcome. And the patterns, as you say, Arlene, is fear. Fear is the pattern. It's everything is fear-based, the opposite of trust.
Mhm.
And the major effect of detachment, rigidity, fear is what?
Death.
Constriction of energy.
Yeah.
Right. We get small, we hold on, we literally make ourselves smaller often. And that's exactly what we're doing, making ourselves smaller because we're afraid to be seen or heard. And we're afraid of what the outcome will be if we don't control it. I have to tell you, Tuesday was a real hard day for me.
Yes, your heart was down. Oh yes, it was hard. I fell down. I couldn't get up. It was awful for me too. It was awful.
But my point is, I've been working with this material for many years, and when I saw what I did, I was just like, whoa, Marty, look in the mirror. Yeah, it was very upsetting to me because I didn't realize how gripping it could become. I thought that I had the ability to ride uncertainty, and in most cases I do, but I didn't on Tuesday because that's how attached I was. Right?
Bless your heart.
I shut down for about 3 days.
You
Oh, yeah.
did what
I
you
didn't
slept.
talk.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't.
shut down for about 3 days.
Yeah. I just felt comatose.
Yeah,
You know what
just
I
thinking
did?
about it, I can feel my breath gets shorter and smaller and more recessed.
I started reading. You remember that when we went to see Masaru Emoto years ago when we did the
Water.
water stuff, and he was so cool. I got out that book and it's all written in Japanese, and I got real pissed off about that. But his wife had translated a whole bunch of it, and I remembered what he did with the tuning fork, and his whole lesson was about energy and the vibration, and everything has energy, and it brings us together when we have the same energy. And he did the tuning fork, and we held up tuning forks, and they all rang in the key of D if we were all the same or something. I don't remember what that was, but remember that? That was so cool.
It's so easy to spot it when you're working with vibration of any kind, because it's like the constriction is what stops you from, you can't move, you can't vibrate with energy.
Yeah.
You're just like shut down, completely shut down, tight, constricted. Your energy is not moving. It's like going inside or going elsewhere. Oh, maybe I'll move to France.
Go have a drink of gin and tonic, and that'll fix it, you know?
That's an escape.
Well, I mean, those are, when we are constricted, no matter which quadrant we're in, when we're constricted, our energy is not moving. When we stop moving, we die. Anything in nature, when it stops moving, is generally dead. Yes.
You're vibrating physically. You're not a solid being anyway. Even sitting still, you are
Right.
vibrating.
Even sitting still, you're moving.
So to cease that activity, it is, and I think several minutes ago, you said death would be, and now you're corroborating that. But yeah, that's the thing is, life is a vibration, and constrict that ceases to live.
Some of you know, my husband is ill right now, and he's sort of I watched him sort of give up and stop moving around. He stopped doing things. Could you hand me that instead of getting up? And I observed it for the first couple of days, and then I looked at him and I said, when you stop moving, you die. You have to move. You have to get up. You have to move. You have to walk. Even if you just walk around the kitchen island 5 times, just keep moving, keep the energy moving, because it's when it gets congealed, that's when we get stuck, that's when we get trapped, that's when we get glued down. Yeah, and we can't move forward.
Which one of you is talking about that Tai Chi energy a while ago that was so cool?
Yeah,
I'm taking a class in Tai Chi from my physical therapy people, and I gotta get something different because these arms in my chair don't let me do that with this ball of energy that we're talking about, And so I think just energy moving is good too, when we can't walk. I can't fucking walk, excuse me. Sorry.
No, don't ever apologize. We want to hear what you're saying. So, we've sort of gone back over the 4 quadrants with more information than we had the first time. And what I want to do is, I'm just keeping an eye on the time, is to really start to bring a conclusion in the circle, and to just give you the opportunity to do something important to take with you. And I alluded to it earlier with the haiku poem and the song. And one of the things that I personally found really valuable to ritualize this work, because once you ritualize it, you put it in place. It has a home. It's been honored. It's been seen. It's been, in some cases, committed to. It's been owned. So, as a ritual, what I would like to invite you to do is to return to your haiku. And I want you to go ahead and get more serious about moving your poem into a song, which will be your power song. Your power song. What's wonderful about a power song? Anybody? What do you think a power song is?
Something that makes you feel open, expanded, and strong.
Yes. Anything else?
Remembering who I am.
Yes.
And just words are powerful. Words are energy in themselves. And each word has an energetic property behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
It's kind of like your mantra, isn't it? Like,
Yes. But what I'm going to do is to ask you to do a body mantra with it. So what I want you to do is go back to your song, or your words anyway, and in converting it to a song, because singing is important for life, in converting it to a song, go ahead and move away from the haiku constriction of 575. So if you need to add a few words or syllables here and there, do that. But keep it compact, like it started. But I know with mine over the years has evolved. And one of the most powerful practices I have in my life is to sing my power song and to dance with it. To dance the words. So if you're, whatever your words are, to embody those words. Now, is anybody suddenly feeling afraid?
yeah.
Okay, and that's normal. So this is an ask. This is an ask for empowerment. Okay. What you will find by being vulnerable in this exercise is real strength. And it's going to be, I hope, what it is for me, is an ongoing, the rest of my life, I still use it. When I get up in the morning, or when I'm going through a hard time, or when I'm stressed, or when I'm feeling vulnerable, or when I'm feeling, negatively vulnerable, like I'm feeling weak, and I'm in the shadow side of vulnerability. So it's, number one, it's medicine for letting the shadow go behind you, right? Throw it all back there. Number two, it's medicine for empowering you where you are in the moment. Number three, it's a way of embodying your power song. Because once you dance it, once you move it, it's in your body in a way that it never, it can't be pulled away from you. It's something you can never be taken from you, because now it's in your body. And it's through this resource of ritualizing and empowering. When we ritualize something, what we're ritualizing changes forever. And when we ritualize it, we are changed by it. So remember I talked earlier about being a change agent, bringing change. And the truth about one of my dreams is I believe we need change agents more than anything right now in the world. And if change is part of your calling, which I happen to believe it is, but it's up to you. If change is part of your calling, it is, in my opinion, some of the most sacred work we can do. some of the most valued work we can do, some of the most skilled work we can bring, some of the most valuable. And I left a question with you on the first circle. And the question was to ask yourself, when I look out into the world, the thing I see that most breaks my heart is, fill it in. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to play with your poem and fit it to a tune that works for you. And a reminder, you can let go of the 5-7-5 constriction, but still keep it pretty compact, because concentrated energy is more powerful. Okay?
And where does the question come in the song?
It doesn't. We're going to do that at the end, but I was planting it so it can percolate a little bit, knowingly or unknowingly.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Are we supposed to basically use these words, or does it matter?
If you want to change it up, that's fine.
Okay.
Because you've had more time for it to kind of work inside you. So feel free to play with it. But I will say, I encourage you to trust the original impetus at some level. And just repeating, you can expand it if you need to fill your tune. Mine has expanded over the years, and I'll sing it for you later.
I'm anxious to hear it. I really am.
Oh, just a question, can we use our phones or not use our phones?
I don't have any attachment to that. It's up to you.
Okay.
Those AIs. Eric is connected to those AIs.
Yeah.
My notebook.
He's got this wire head. He's really smart. I love that about you, Eric.
And don't do it out of lack of trust that you know how to do it yourself.
Don't do what out of lack of trust, right?
Go
This
to
song?
Don't ask the AI to write your song if it's because you don't trust that you can do it. Because I trust that you can do it. And
I do
I would
too.
like you to.
You've got everything you need
Oh, it
and
was more out
more.
of curiosity.
You've got everything you need and more. It's cooking in that brain of yours.
I ran you out of the chair. I
I couldn't see you and I felt I was blocking some of the other people.
If I move the candle. Can it go on the table when it's lit?
I think so. Sure.
Yeah, unless it gets down low, it won't be hot.
I can't think of any tunes at all.
I want a copy. I would love to have a copy of your medicine wheel. When
Oh.
I first met it, I
You
didn't
take a
like it.
picture.
I have to tell you, I didn't like it because it was different than mine.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, that's not right. It's not right. Water, you know. And mine is bear in the cave, and that's what I'm into. Is bear in the cave, and it's not my story, and it's not my picture, but it's
Well,
more
bear-
mine now, and I love it.
Yeah, and just bearing in mind, it is a compilation of almost all the indigenous people's wheels.
It's not just one.
So
it's
it's not just
the
one.
Lakota
Yeah,
people or
right.
the Buffalo or
Right.
whatever. I get you. I hear you.
I mean, it has Inuit, Aboriginal, Native American, has all kinds. Yeah, Quechua. So just a few more minutes, and I'm making it quick because I want it to come from your whole self, not just your brain. One more minute.
Gosh, I can't think of any tunes.
Yeah, I haven't gotten them to.
Okay. So I'm gonna invite you, and there's no have-tos here. I'm just going to invite you to empower yourself by sharing your power song. And I'll show you mine so you have a sense of what I'm asking for. And the words to my expanded haiku are: fruit of the vine round the circle entwining, ever unfolding by living and dying. Freed seeds, possibilities. So the invitation is to use emotion, like if you're saying a word like entwining, that you're moving with the words. The words are determining how you move. So it comes out a little different every time for me, but this is what it sort of looks like. Okay. So, fruit of the vine round the circle entwining, ever unfolding by living and dying, and it's freed seeds, possibilities. Okay. Okay, I lost my balance after I was sitting too long.
Yeah, I think we're all missing.
But, it's just move the music, let the music tell you where to go with it. So is anybody feeling ready?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, gosh.
I can do the song, but I can't do the dance.
If you can walk, you can dance.
Just see what happens, if you do it, letting yourself be intuitively guided. You don't have to know.
I gotta work on this for a whole long time. I can't come up with it that quick.
It's okay. It's okay because whatever you come up with is the right thing. And later you can refine it or expand it
Dust
or
it off
shorten
and
it.
reshape it.
Yeah.
It's gotta have dusting off and reshaping and tweaking.
It looks like Eric's gonna go.
Eric's got it.
I'm
Look at
working at it. Alright. I guess I'm committing to that, huh? Alright, so my song is on Let It Be, right? I changed the word. Serve with heart, with intuition. To my soul I surrender. Together we will be. Let it flow, let it grow.
Beautiful, very good.
Great.
Nice.
How's that feel?
Nice.
Thank you.
How does that feel to do that?
It feels, how do you say it? I mean, I just feel good about it.
Something you could use in the future?
Yeah, and
Like
probably
she
will
said.
grow. I mean, I have also prayers that grow with time. So
Yeah.
this is just
Yeah.
here's another practice.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Eric. This is not the United States Has Talent.
We don't have to talk to, Simon about it. Who is that guy's name?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Simon,
not Paul
I think
Simon.
sounds right.
Who is it?
Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell, yeah. I like Paul Simon. I don't like Simon Cowell very much.
He's got his own issues.
But just keep in mind that this will empower you, I promise. This will empower you if you can find your way to doing it. And you will take something really, really valuable home with you to maybe further refine or work on or play with or think about.
Thank you for sharing all of this. I love you so much, Marty, and I honor and cherish you and what you give us.
So this is about ritualizing it, which changes everything. Who's ready?
I'm not.
Anybody?
I'm almost.
I gotta get the rhythm going, you know what I mean? I gotta get the rhythm. And I don't have the rhythm because I got this brain rattle going on that just.
So this is your opportunity. We have about only 10 minutes left before we
I'll just
close.
truncate it since I can't get the last phrase of this song.
Oh, good.
It'll come.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
Linda, good.
Do you want to read us the words first?
Okay, I start up here. I know myself, am true to me, having overcome and weathered trials, I've come out strong. I claim that truth for me. I had strength and stand. I claim that truth for me.
Thanks.
Let's see, how was the song go? Who knows? I will do something different maybe next time. Let's see. I know myself, I'm true to me, having overcome and weathered trials, I've come out strong. I claim that truth for me.
Beautiful. Our woman.
How do you feel?
I love the I claim. I love that. That felt so powerful when you said that.
Thank you.
It's very
How do you feel? Can you feel it?
Oh, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah. That's how one way you can use it when you want to really get your energy juice going. Yeah. Anybody else?
good job.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know it was gonna look like that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, for those of you who are not certain that you feel comfortable doing it, that's okay. Please do it when you get home
Yeah.
and see in front of the mirror and see how that feels for you. And if it has heart and meaning for you, keep it, work on it, refine it, use it. It's an amazing gift, and it will fortify you, it will empower you, it will lift you up, it will get your energy juices going. I encourage you to consider using it as a tool. The final thing I want to do so that we can wrap up then is the question that I asked last time and this time is to bring it forward and hear your answers to the thing that when I look out in the world that most breaks my heart is. And then I want to hear what your fill-in word is there. So just complete the sentence. Is what? Or
Oh, I got that. I already wrote that down. You want to hear it now?
sure.
The thing that I see that scares me the most is that people aren't listening.
So, wow, that's a big one. That's one of mine too, by the way. What I want you to notice is the way you finish this sentence is more often than not your calling, where your work arena lies. Okay? So just
What was this sentence phrasing? When I look out in the
when
world,
I look out into the world, the thing that most breaks my heart
breaks
is
my heart. What most breaks my heart is abuse of innocent animals.
Could you see yourself working with animals
Locally.
in rescue or
Oh,
care?
I see that with you, yes.
See, isn't that interesting? Because your community sees it in you. And now when you say it out loud, it's confirmed for you. And so often, I can't tell you how many times people have come back to me and said, yeah, I've always known that that was my arena to work in, or to be volunteering in, or to spend some time in, to make me feel full, to make me feel I've brought my calling forward. And just saying it out loud makes all the difference. Because as I keep saying, what we share is forever changed when we share it. And we are forever changed when we share it. So, change agency in play. So I just encourage you to spend some time maybe thinking about how you could get engaged.
Every day I've been watching a Facebook feed from Rocky Kanaka.
Okay.
Every day. And it's just grabbed my heart this last month. And he sits in shelters with abused animals and just calms them.
Oh.
And it's really touched me a lot. So maybe there's something there.
Well, something big like war, like the wars that are going on right now,
It can be any size.
it can be any size.
So can you say more about it, or?
The destruction, the pain, death, injury, like that.
So what are the life skills and talents that you just happen to have that would come in handy working in that arena?
I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm not sure.
You told me once that you would like to be maybe even a counselor or something like that.
Yes.
What are the skill set? What's the skill set there?
Skill set. I'm not sure what you mean, like
What are the?
comforting or guidance or
Mhm.
something like that.
So more on the end of supporting people who are being wounded or
Right.
unhomed or losing a loved one, or I'm sure there's something out there.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it may not be in Ukraine, but there's plenty of war going on the individual scale.
On a smaller scale.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
So comforting the war veterans,
Yeah.
because it has felt like a little bit like we're at war lately here.
Yes,
Yes.
it has. We have been at war. It's a different kind of war, but it certainly is a war.
Mhm.
You know what? You said something about picking a flower, and I'm trying to remember, and I wrote it down, and I don't remember what you said about picking a flower, but it hit me in my heart, picking the flower, because it is so pretty, and it's just this pretty little flower, and so we want to pick it. I don't want to pick the damn flower. Don't touch that flower.
Let it be.
It's about leaving it for others to enjoy.
Yes, and
And
letting it
not
grow
having
and letting it do what flowers are supposed to do. Smell good and look good and bring beauty and light and life and strength and character and pleasure to the world.
Yes, making
Thank
sure
you.
beauty's available for all to see. Anything else? Anybody?
Well, the one that came just to my mind was when I look out into the world, the thing I see that most breaks my heart is hunger.
Is what?
Hunger.
Hunger. Oh,
Plenty to do
yeah.
there.
Locally, even.
I think
Yeah.
when you said hunger, I thought little hungry kids. What the picture came to my mind of little
Yeah,
hungry kids and little
Moms.
hungry animals.
you know, it's bad enough to be displaced, but when you can't feed your family.
And we
on
got so
top
much
of it.
food on this planet. It just rots in the refrigerator, you know?
Well, it's poor. I mean, it's poorly distributed.
Mhm.
That's where
We have
maybe the
enough,
problem is. Yeah.
but it's not spread around.
No.
Mhm, mhm. And then I thought too, there's hunger political, you know, in our population. I think it's recognizing what people are hungry for, you know, that there's been this lack of communication, you know.
Yes.
You know, I think people
Connection,
that
lack of connection.
yeah,
Recognition.
maybe, yeah. You know, it's like they're craving something that they're not getting,
Yeah,
you know?
just
That
even
could
just
be true
being
of
seen,
us. Yeah.
just being seen
Mhm.
Yeah.
And heard and listened
Heard.
to.
and respected. I mean,
Mhm.
respect from Latin, to look again, and to not be attached to preconceived notions.
Mine was just a little more, just, I'll say high level, because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to focus in on, but it was, breaks my heart, there's lack of compassion for self and others. And if you could just do one or the other, at least you're doing something right with compassion, and ultimately they'll converge because you'll realize that you're connected to everybody. You learn to have compassion for yourself, take care of yourself, then you'll recognize that in others and you'll have compassion for them. And I just think at a real high level, I'm not saying that that's the cause of all the world's problems, but maybe just, you know, without putting a spotlight on war or you know, the houseless, homeless, you know, caring for them, child hunger, whatever. Compassion, I think, is an element that could.
Bottom line.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I agree with you about
Anyway,
that.
so that's the word that came to me, and I'm self-convicting myself because I really feel like I need to be more compassionate, and I just, where the rubber hits the road, though, what do I do, right?
Yes,
And,
yeah.
right. So.
Well, often we forget that we don't necessarily have to do anything. I mean, it's all energy, right? So here, sitting here, I can change the world just by sending
By
the
vibrating,
energy.
yes.
And your intention.
Yeah.
I mean, just even going to the supermarket. And here's one of my, how about I'm sure that you're a kind driver. I've had so many things happen to me while I'm driving lately, with people cutting you off and almost being hit by a car in the parking lot. But I know that you're not that kind of a person. So, I mean, there's many opportunities, I think, for compassion. And I hope you come to some of our Zoom services. I would really like to see you come to some of our Zoom services.
Yes,
I think we would all benefit.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is that one?
I'm looking to absorb
sure.
and share. So
Yes.
okay.
So the question I might encourage you to consider is, what are the skills and talents that I already have that I could use to create more compassion in the world, or in my world, or in my community?
Right.
Doesn't matter what scale.
Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're not wanting me to answer that right now.
No.
Because that's not.
Now,
that's
so
not good.
Have 5
sometimes we
minutes.
don't think of ourselves as having skills, so if something like pops to mind, it's like, you know,
Write it down quick, yeah.
You know,
put
like
it in a song.
owning, you know, our capabilities, it doesn't necessarily mean it's what you do, or you
Yeah,
take
yeah.
action with, but, yeah.
Anybody else want to share?
Mine was the,
Go.
butt right in. Mine was the same as Laurel's, war. and it kind of brings out all the same things people are talking about, if to care about it, to have compassion, or just starvation, not enough food, just all the things that flash on the TV with, especially the Palestinians. It's just like, it's been a rip for me, because of my fundamental Christian background was like God's chosen people. It's Israel, and then it's wrestling with
Who's
there's
right,
not a
who's
chosen
wrong,
there's
yeah.
not a chosen people, really. But and then all the stuff that goes with that, our America backs war, and so to bring it down to like a level I can make a difference in, that's the challenge. I had sometimes I sell things that I don't want anymore, sometimes I give them away, but I had like 20 cartridges for
Printer.
the water filter things. And I thought, gosh, those are a good $5-6 each. So I put a price on them, and people were interested, made ridiculously low offers. And so anyway, these two men show up to buy them, and they're Ukrainian, and they're displaced in America. I mean, they're adults, they're not starving children, but I accepted their offer, and then we're just talking, and I'm like, are you gonna stay in America? We don't know. Or have you found work? Yes. And my heart just like, oh. And they had handed me the money I wanted, and I said, would you allow me to give your money back? I just felt like, geez, here I am, this very American, doing fine with my house and my life and things and food, and I don't need my water filters anymore, because I afforded to upgrade my water filter system, and I just all of a sudden felt really, I don't know.
Like you didn't need the money?
But yeah, all that. I felt so wealthy. Here's these people, and they said no. They said no, that's not necessary. We afford.
Oh.
But just telling that story to say like that, it just caused me to think about that, and how to maybe focus, the word you use a lot, focus more on a Ukrainian, or do we have Palestinians that are taken in right here in Vancouver? I don't know, but maybe focus on giving to that.
One thing you might want to remember is that the Hebrews wrote that.
We are the chosen. Yeah.
The heathens wrote the book?
No,
Hebrews.
Hebrews, oh, the Hebrews wrote the book.
That anointed them God's chosen people.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you just not that it might not be true. It might be true.
Well, all people think they're the chosen people, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know what? The men were the only ones writing back then. The women weren't writing. And I have an attitude about that. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Just claim it and hang on.
A lot of people copied books because that's the only mean
Right.
to pass it on.
Yeah.
Before
And
the
women wrote too.
1450.
Yeah, women wrote too. There were not only men who wrote.
Did we? I don't think I did.
So I'm gonna just corral us back to closing.
Yeah.
Anybody else wish to share?
Okay, mine's kind of heady, but it took a long time to come up with something, because I'd say, well, no, that leaves this out and that. Oh no. So what I look out into the world, the thing that most breaks my heart is the death of Earth's systems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
a big
mine
one,
also.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ananda, that's wonderful.
So
Not really, but.
which of your closet full of gifts and skills could you apply to working on something there? Something that has heart and meaning for you.
You already voted, right?
The birds.
Yeah, actually,
The birds.
believe it or not, I did get to do something about that one time in my professional life. I had the amazing opportunity. For 2 years, I worked for the BLM Forest Service joint project called the Interagency Species Management System in support of the spotted owl. I made a database and stuff for them to track the observations at their test plots. So I guess I've done a little bit, but I would be glad to do more if the opportunity came my way. I don't know. I mean, I could go to Greenpeace, but I'm not that kind of
Political person. You're not political. I want
Well,
to hear more about the
but
spotted owl.
I'm not
They're pretty
so
aggressive.
rah. We know what we're doing. But anyway, I will keep my heart open to that possibility.
What about the spotted owl? What can you tell us about the spotted
Arlene,
owl?
could we get
No,
our service?
Stay focused, stay focused.
Right now.
No, but thinking about doing something actively. I mean, if you do 3 trips to a grocery store a week, you could do it in one by
But he
having a
walks.
list, right?
He walks.
Oh, you walk?
Often. We usually walk to the store, yeah.
Unless
Oh, that's
we're
great.
going
Yeah.
by.
But we do take a lot of long driving trips.
I don't know if we're gonna
Guilty.
afford that.
Sometimes it's just find one small thing.
Yeah, I'm willing to have that happen, to be inspired. Yes.
Thank you. I mean, thank you to everyone.
No,
Because
thank
this
you to
is
you.
no, but I mean for these callings, these noble callings, to be put on the table like that. And I just encourage you to follow through and find at least one small thing that you can do in about the thing that breaks your heart open. And I thank you in advance. The planet thanks you. The people on the planet thank you. So I'm just trying to bring closure here, because walking the fourfold way means that we are opening to service. Because once you're empowered as a warrior, a healer, a teacher, and a visionary, what do you do with it? So my answer is we take our skills out in the world and we do at least one small thing. Or maybe it's one small thing every day. Whatever it is, it's more than what's out there right now. And it's gratefully received.
And change begins with me.
Change begins with me. And through the resource of power and love and wisdom and healing, oh my gosh, we have everything we need, along with your particular personal gifts and skills, which may or may not be out working in the world yet, right? So that's the invitation. And I want to close with a quote from William Blake, one of my favorite poets. He said, it's very short, he said, I in a fourfold vision see, and a fourfold vision is given me. Fourfold is my supreme delight and right.
Wow.
Yeah. So So as you go out into the world with your compassion and help and skills and talents, thank you for the change.
Thank you,
As
Martie.
long as we change, we grow.
Thank you. Wow.
Anybody that took a tablet, if you want to just keep the tablet instead of tearing your papers out, that's fine.
Thank you, Linda.
Oh.
Thank you, dear. I
These
was
tablets?
hoping to do
Yeah.
that.
So, technically, not technically, that's the wrong approach. We're halfway through our program, and I'd like to just propose we just close here and not do our normal closing and prayers and birthdays and announcements and offerings and everything, because it's been so full. So, is there anything important that needs to be stated before we say?
Somebody just wants to say a blessing or something?
I know, yes, something important is thank you. I love you, thank you.
Someone want to offer a prayer?
Well, since I feel the need, I guess I'll try. Okay. Spirit of the oneness, we've gathered here to learn and grow and realize our connection. And we've been so filled and empowered by Martie sharing this information and nurtured, and just let each of us be guided, and with that, what we've gained now, guided within ourselves for who we are and how we express. Thank you for this opportunity and this community and the abundance of wealth, health, and love. Yes.
Thank you everyone for being here.